So I've been reflecting on my journey these past almost it hasn't even been 3 years really. It's going to be 3 years soon since I dropped out of college. And one of the biggest insights that, although sounds so simple in retrospect, is actually huge. It's so simple, it's complicated. That is trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself. I cannot emphasize that enough. And and here's the thing. There's a quote by Alex Ramosi. It goes something along like the lines of this. Nobody has 100% of the context of your life, and that you can also guarantee that they have your best interest and that uh they have similar experiences as well with you. So every time somebody is giving you advice, they're inherently doing it from a place of a lack of information. So, like, you're not going to take advice from your gardener about how to, I don't know, what plane tickets, when's the best time to buy plane tickets to fucking Japan, right? Unless, of course, they've been to Japan and they've done all of that. And so it's the same thing with any aspect of your life. And the problem is when you're a kid, when you are the most, literally when you are the most open-minded, right? You're literally just a blank slate. When you're most open-minded and when you're most cognizant of what other people think, specifically your parents, right? Because it's a survival mechanism. It's literally, we can go into that whole childhood trauma stuff, but it's when you're most cognizant of what your parents think, what other people think. And that is the time when you are inundated with all this bullshit. It's a fucking tragedy. Right? And I'm not saying it happens to every single person out there. And I'm not saying that you can't live I don't even know. But when you're a kid, you get inundated with all these things like be a realistic. That will never work. Or all this rational shit. When when people do extraordinary things, they're anything but rational. And we can only rationalize them in retrospect, looking back and figuring out how to do it. But when it was happening, when it was in the process, when cool shit is in the process of being created, that's not really rational. And to kind of tie it back to the whole trust yourself thing, you cannot intellectualize your way through life, at least not alone. The intellect is actually just a tool in itself. But here in, I don't know, in the West, whatever that fuck that means, right? Here in a lot of the schools that we teach that you grow up in, you're not really told to trust your gut. You're told to make an informed decision, analyze what's going to be the decision. When really all the really good things that happened to me were because I literally trusted my gut. I trusted my intuition. And yeah, obviously I made a lot of mistakes and I went through shit that I probably shouldn't have. Maybe it would have been better if I listened to my mom on certain things. But honestly, like trust yourself because honestly, I would rather be wrong on my terms than to be right on someone else's. And that's the fundamental problem is as kids, this magical intuition, you're taught to just whether directly or indirectly or intentionally or unintentionally, it's probably just completely inadvertent. It just gets cut off. It gets cut off. And so what happens is now it's almost like you're living in your head and basically you are you're literally half the person that you can be. Maybe even less than that. In my eyes, like that's probably 20, 15 to 20% of the actual human experience at best. And then the world just tells you that's the only thing. So to bring it back, trust yourself because look, and I don't mean completely ignore what everybody else says. That's not what I'm saying either. But on paper, that might be what it might look like. And I would even go so far as to say that sometimes you might even need to do the exact opposite of what people do tell you sometimes. And that is just how it goes. That is just how it goes. Because again, nobody has the combination of experiences that you have gone through. And nobody has the full picture, the full 100% picture from your perspective and from how you want your life and how what you actually enjoy, what you hate, what you like, what you don't like, whatever. Nobody has that perspective that you do. Not even your fucking mother, not even like your fucking wife. Nobody does. So what that looks like, what that means for you is you're going to have to outright ignore people's advice, even if it might look like from a rational perspective that they might be right. So trust yourself because that's really the only way. I mean, that's I personally do not see a way where you do not trust yourself and you live a genuinely fulfilling life. I don't.